It's a Friday morning. We're here in Cairo, Egypt, on the banks of what is probably the most famous river in the world. It is the River Nile. We're going to go do a property tour here. We're just exploring what are the property options here in Egypt, not only because it's extremely affordable property, but because Egypt has expanded their citizenship by investment program. It could be a plan D or E for someone out there. I first came to Cairo 7.5 years ago. And I said, this is a place with amazing service. Things had become incredibly cheap because the pound had been devalued. It's been devalued since then. And so you have people who want to sell property that if you have dollars, if you have euros, you can get some incredible property bargains. And what makes it more interesting is, while Egypt is not the world's strongest passport, Egypt now has a citizenship by investment program for, among other things, real estate investors. $300,000 in real estate, whatever that may be in pounds, can get you citizenship. And they've expanded that recently to go beyond just government-owned properties to titled properties. Now, most properties in Egypt aren't actually titled, but we're going to take a look. This is a bit exploratory for me as well. What is out there in the property market? We're going to be in Zamalek, which is an island in the middle of the Nile, one of the coolest places here. We're going to be in other places in central Cairo, old Cairo. And then we're going to go out into some areas which we drove through yesterday. Beautiful new communities in areas like New Cairo City. There's a lot going on here, and we're going to show you the contrasts here in Cairo and some of the most affordable property in the world. All right, we're here in Zamalek. This is an island in the middle of the Nile. It is one of the coolest neighborhoods. We've been looking at Egypt as a market for very affordable property for years. Now, you've got a lot of embassies in this neighborhood, so they're really skittish about us filming on the street. This is the entrance. We're going to go in and check out the first property.
This apartment is 207.
207?
Yes.
207 meters.
Yes.
It's about 2,200 square feet. And it was built when? What year was this building built?
207. It's not an old building, yeah.
2007?
Yeah.
So like you've got some really old buildings next door.
Yes.
But this is like 15 years?
It's a new condition.
New condition?
Yes.
Okay. So they've left some damage, but the building itself is newer.
Yeah.
And what do we ask? This is for sale in pounds. What's the pound price?
It's 18 million.
18 million?
Yeah.
So that's $380,000?
Yeah,
385?
maybe. Yeah, maybe.
And who lives on Zamalek? So Zamalek, I think.
Zamalek, yeah, it's Zamalek. A lot of famous people, because Zamalek is very old. And it's very luxury kind of life. A lot of American people, they live here also.
Americans?
Yeah, a lot of American people.
Like Egyptian Americans or just?
No, just
guy
American.
like me?
Yeah, American.
Yeah? You've got the Marriott, a lot of Americans up there. I see a lot of Americans even across the river.
Yes.
A lot of Americans coming here.
Yeah, because they love the view from there.
Yeah, the views are great.
Yeah.
So this big, magnificent space here with really nice tile work, but right out of here, this is what you're paying for. This is the most famous river perhaps in history. You are almost on the Nile. You don't get a view like that every day. So this kitchen needs to be renovated. You've got this window to the light well, I think. Yeah. Definitely want to frost that. But it connects here. If you're going to come here for a few weeks a year, this is what you want. You don't want to have little bedrooms. You want to have something really big. So we have a little correction, English misunderstanding. 270, what I originally heard, is the gross square meters. You're looking at about $1,600 per square meter. So I think that's the price because it's a new building, because you have the title, because you have some of the things that wouldn't have always been done in Egypt. That's the premium you pay. I think you can still negotiate that. But at $1,600, you're on par with Bogota, perhaps a more livable place, but they don't give you a passport. Let's see what the next property holds in terms of pricing in a little bit older building. There's a real aversion, it seems, to being on camera here. Even if you look at YouTubers who try and bring their camera equipment into Egypt, it's an issue. So we got a local crew, and it just seems like filming here is a bit more difficult. But we are going to continue. We'll show you the best we can here in Zamalek. And hopefully by the time we get out into the newer, more Dubai-like suburbs, things will change a bit. We're at the second property here in Zamalek, and I kind of like this. You know, there's not a lot of super modern in Old Cairo, imagine that. We'll see some super modern later when we go to New Cairo, but this has kind of this really old school vibe. If you touched it up a little bit, it'd be really nice. Let's see what this property in central Zamalek has to offer. So over here is your living area, and then you go through this corridor, and then you're kind of in the sleeping area.
Exactly. It's like 323 point.
323 and a half.
And a bit, yeah.
That's like when you tell someone, like, how old are you? You're like, I'm 29 and a half.
Yeah, I'm almost with them.
And what is the price here?
We're going for about 425,000 US.
425 US. Can I pay you in Dubai? If I have a dollar account in Dubai, can I pay you there? And does that work?
Yeah.
What year was this building built?
I think something 60-something.
60s. It has a kind of like, I imagine Cairo in the 60s. There must have been a cool vibe. So it's like $1,300 a meter, which is affordable. This is a really nice balcony to have. Just a straight shot. Hang out here and have a glass of wine tonight. Wake up for your coffee. So this seems to be the trend here. Galley kitchens, looking into light wells, second entryways. They've really separated. It's kind of this odd corridor that separates the bigger living and dining area from your powder room. You wouldn't put a TV here, but you can put sofas and hang out.
Living area.
Maybe an office. It's open.
Yes.
You know, privacy. The built-ins here, I like that a lot of these apartments have these nice old school built-ins. Here's your view. You wake up to the Nile every day. Mm-hmm. Wow. I've been interested in Cairo for years. Egypt, the country, has about 106 million people. 1 in 4 of those people is in the Cairo metro area. So it's about 23 million people. That makes it the 6th biggest mega city in the world. We've been successful with property before in Istanbul. This is bigger than Istanbul. And so the whole geopolitical, the whole growth story of Africa and Egypt in particular, it has its problems, no doubt. But if I can buy property for $1,300 a meter before negotiating, in the best neighborhood of a mega city where your neighbors are ambassadors, to me, even if the currency is going to go down in dollar or euro terms, I think there's an opportunity there. And so far, whenever I've done deals like this, Istanbul, Tbilisi, all over the world, never been proven wrong. So we've got one more property here in Zamalek, but we've got a good sign. I've got a good feeling. All right, hope's dashed. We couldn't bring the cameras in. We couldn't film on the phone. Let's just call the American woman selling this apartment eclectic. So we're moving on.
So we were just getting out of a house that we just saw in Zamalek, and it was the rudest woman. She had us taking off our shoes right when we got there. She did not present herself.
Which I'm fine with, by the way.
Which I'm absolutely fine with.
But we're going to a 4th apartment in Zamalek. After that, we're going to check out a new neighborhood which doesn't get as much press. In fact, it wasn't even on my radar. It's called Maadi. It's also on the Nile. Fewer embassies, but some of the same excitement. So we've got more to come. And then later, we're going to be taking you to New Cairo. We drove through that area yesterday. There are some new developments with golf courses, new developments with all kinds of amenities. It almost looks like Dubai. And so we're going to show you a different way of living. This is the kind of stuff we're going to be talking about at Nomad Capitalist Live. If you want to learn about real estate investing from people who are on the ground, we have panelists and we have speakers who do deals in Africa, in Southeast Asia, in Central Asia, in South America. It's our big annual 4-day event. Maria and I put it together along with other folks on our team. Go to nomadcapitalist.com/live. Get on the waiting list so that you hear when tickets are available, because we sold out this year in just 14 days. So go to nomadcapitalist.com/live if you want to learn how to lower your taxes, how to get second passports, and on-the-ground experience from folks who have spent years in markets like this all around the world. That's what you learn at Nomad Capitalist Live.
We'll see you there.
Let's go. So we're here in the streets of Zamalek. We've come back to the north. So you can see this whole island in the Nile. All your hotels are here in Garden City. Over here is the Giza Governorate on your way to the pyramids. So everything we've done is pretty much in the north. We're here back pretty far to the north. Again, a little bit less leafy green, a little bit less of the architectural features of the first two properties. Let's see maybe they'll let us in the door this time. So we have the last apartment here in Zamalek. One part of it's 200 meters, one part of it's 100 meters. Sounds a little too round. We'll figure it out. 15 million pounds for one, so you're right about that $300,000 level if you wanted citizenship. The other 100 meters, they want 7. You can connect them, you can not connect them, you can buy one, you can buy not one, but let's check it out. You could probably do more with this than a lot of the galley kitchens, which is kind of nice. This seems like a more traditional kind of Western floor plan, dining area, living area. Nice little balcony here. Everything here is sand colored. Like all the buildings, everything, just as far as the eye can see. So this does not feel like 200 meters, honestly. You always have to check the documents. I guess they're counting these balconies, which I never count as true under roof property. You've got the Nile at an angle. I think this is the Fairmont Hotel over there in the distance. Yeah, so you've got balcony access from both bedrooms. This is a nice little, Western floor plan apartment, minus the fact the kitchen's closed off. The windows are smaller. The building feels a little less architectural. Doors keep slamming with the cross breeze. So this is your dining area and your open kitchen. So you've got a bedroom here, but it's not really closed off. If you have your gentleman living with you, he could live here and have access. Seems like a lot of wasted space. I think there's a mindset in some of these places. We talked to the Russian broker earlier, where it's kind of like the Soviet times mindset, they call it, where they lived in the Soviet times when he who had supply was the king. And now it's like there's supply everywhere. The person with money is the king, especially when your currency is going down. But some people, they just like, I have this great thing and there's nothing else like it. And there's a million things like it.
Yeah, of course.
This is the challenge when you go to emerging markets, is you've got what I call hidden gems, the diamonds in a rough. But you've got to work hard to find them. And a property market like this, I think, is like the Wild West, where, how do you figure out the price? Sometimes it's like this. You just put your dust from touching these places. You just put your finger in the air and see which way the wind is blowing, and you just set the price. And there are different mentalities around that. And so you have to know what you're doing. And so we're encountering some frustrations of adapting to the local property market and how they do things. And I will tell you, this is what we do at Nomad Capitalist to figure out how this stuff works. And we're going to take everything from today back and figure out what are the opportunities, if any. And then when you come here and we're showing you around, it's going to be with an explanation of what you should expect, because there are indeed some frustrations when you go to any new market. All right, so we are on the long road to Maadi. The estate agent tells us that this is a famous area for foreigners. There are embassies here. Some other folks are saying there are not embassies, but it is nice, maybe nicer than Zamalek. It is a bit of a palaver down the side of the Nile. It's about a 25-minute drive. I told you this was an experiment, and we're trying to figure out who our good vendors are here. I had a bad feeling about this one, and my intuition was correct. I guess the view of the Nile is good, and we're going to send the camera crew up to the 27th floor. I wouldn't get in a lift in this building to go to any floor, and I'm certainly not walking up 27 flights of stairs. I don't know where the hell they brought us, but honestly, this is why we do R&D, sometimes for years, to figure out not only where do you want to buy, what do you want to do, but who do you work with? Who do you trust? I wouldn't trust someone who brought me here, but you're seeing it in real time. So that was a waste of time, except for the fact that we found a lovely cat and her newborn kitten there that we got some tuna for. Maadi, from what I'm told, as we're driving along here, is a nice community. That is, what do they say in the real estate community? Maadi adjacent. They said the elevator is nice enough, and there's a nice view, but Dios mío. But we've got one more stop to head out to. That's in New Cairo City, and this is where you've got Dubai-like communities with golf courses and swimming pools. It's a city within a city. It's a compound, they call it. I think there's some promise here, but it's going to take a while to figure out exactly where that is. And I think my intuition on Zamalek so far is correct, but let's see New Cairo City. You've lived here for 1 year.
Yes, but we bought it for 3 years.
You bought it when they were building it.
Building it. Yes.
You're the only people who've lived here.
But we stayed less than 1 year. And the finishing, it's not a Marasim or developer finishing. This is our finishing.
You're finishing.
Because the finishing was very bad, and we restructured electricity.
The developer gave you like bad finishing, you think?
Bad.
How big is this?
This is 200.
200 meters?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly. 195.
Okay, 195.
Exactly.
I like to be exact.
This is a guest.
Guess like a powder room.
Yes. Here, the kitchen. It was maid room and the bathroom. So I use it as a storage room and laundry.
How many bedrooms do we have? Can we go in?
4.
4 bedrooms.
Yes, maid room is one of them.
Oh, okay.
This is a master bedroom. And the view garden. All of the rooms is a view garden. This is a storage, and this is the bathroom.
You should get 2 showers. You can shower together.
Yes. Yeah.
This is a child's room.
Yes, this is one. No, it's not. Teens.
Teens.
Yes, teens.
Yeah, sure, teens.
This is the bathroom.
Bathroom.
Third one.
So the master bedroom is en suite.
Yes.
That one's not.
Yeah. This is the garden, and you can remove this. If I stay here, I'll remove this.
And just have all grass.
Yes. And I will put a pergola. There's electricity here and all of this. And this one is 50,000. It's automatic for water.
How's the Wi-Fi here?
Perfect.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Fast?
There is fiber.
Fiber.
Optics. Yeah.
We can upload our videos.
Yes.
Is there parking here?
Yes.
You don't get parking in Zamalek.
I have. No.
So she was saying this is a Saudi built, Saudi managed property, so they keep managing the property after you buy it. It's 12 million, plus there's 4 more years of installments of 2.5 million, so you're at 14.5. If you want citizenship, that price is, I guess, right on the dot. If the pound doesn't get any weaker, here's the problem. You can't do that level of installments. You got to bring those forward. Something to think about. So this woman's a seller. It's a shame she's going to waste her talents in Canada. But she is the best salesperson at selling her own house of anyone we've met today. The price here is about $1,550 per meter. I wanted to come out here because for years I would meet Egyptians who would say, no, don't be in the city center, go to New Cairo City, that's where it's happening. We're kind of on the newer edge of New Cairo City here. I don't understand the value if you're a foreigner. To me, compound living is nice if you live in Cairo, your business is in Cairo, you have to be in Cairo. I don't get the point, quite frankly, if you want a pied-à-terre that is part of your portfolio and you want to be able to come here to explore the African market, or it's a plan D, whatever the case may be. This, to me, is what makes Nomad Capitalist so unique, is we have a process we've improved over a decade of asking you questions. What do you want? And then, okay, here's what matches that. So we spent the day looking at properties all around Cairo. My intuition for years of research and talking to Egyptians was that Zamalek, Garden City, those were places that foreigners would want to buy. I think you can get some of those properties down to about $1,000 a meter, which is my standard for extremely cheap property if you're in a city center in a country that has a lot of room to grow. But it also showed me the lesson I've learned many times, which is when you listen to lawyers and you listen to real estate agents who don't listen to what you want, who project their own needs as local residents onto you, the foreign client, you're going to spend time running around looking at properties from developers where you're going to overpay, properties that weren't constructed well. You are not going to get the best deal. This is what we do. It's R&D. It's on the ground. And so we have a better idea, in my mind, of what works here in Cairo, but there is more work to be done. And yet I think that there will be opportunities that come out of this. But you see just how frustrating it can be to get to a finished product of how to invest in a new market, how to do so with confidence. It's something that we help people do here at Nomad Capitalist, connecting them with good vendors. We've got to go back and find some better vendors. But that's a look at property in Cairo, unfiltered, raw, and with more room to go.